I wish I had more time to give you the world. If I was young again, I'd show more the love you deserve. I wish I could have given you all you ever asked for. All I can give you now are these simple words. If I could turn back the hands of time, I'd hold you closer and recognize your mind. Every dream I thought I lost along the way, I trade them all for just one more day. If I could turn back time, I'd do it all differently. Fix every moment that slipped away from me. If I only had a time machine, I'd give you everything you dreamed of, every piece of love you never got to see. Time's the one thing we can never get back. And now that I'm older, this is all I can do, is tell you every day how happy you made me. I will spend the rest of my days showing you. If I could turn back time, I'd rewrite every memory, hold on tighter to the moments slipping out of reach. If I only had a time machine, I'd give you everything you dreamed of, and all the love you never seen from me. If I could turn back the hands of time, I'd hold you closer and recognize your mind. Every dream I thought I lost along the way, I trade them all for just one more day.
All right, good morning. I've got to check this and see if my mic is working. Problems here at the old studio. My external camera took a crap, but there's like 5 options for the mic on this. All right, good morning. Oh, apparently it does work. All right, you can hear me. That could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. You never know. So it is Tuesday, the 14th of July. I don't know what's happening in your part of the world, but it's a little busy here. Of course, if you're local where I live, tonight is the city commission meeting, which I will be attending. I don't think I'm going to speak. They don't really need to hear anything. I've said everything I've had to say many times over. So, I am going to support my fellow Springfielders and film a little bit of it and then play it on the podcast next week, or actually into this week. Sorry. But good morning, Watchman. So I'm trying to improve my online presence, and people like Watchman and Ronan are helping me out. I'm a tech idiot. Ain't no doubt about it. I'm an idiot in many ways, but absolutely a tech idiot. And so Ronan, my friend in Australia, is trying to help me out with this platform called Streamers. And it is far more, it's got a lot of tools there, a lot of things to help. That was Larry on the guitar. Larry probably could play that if he hadn't got, really severe arthritis in his old age. But, we all decline. Hey, what is it they say? Getting old ain't for pussies. Trust me on that. So here's the funny thing. Ever since my external camera messed up, I'm hearing this bing in my ear about every 30 seconds or more. Now, I hope you guys don't hear it. If you do, let me know. But I'm getting used to it right now. It's been happening since yesterday. I got to figure out why it's doing it. Once again, tech idiot. But I had a little video conference call about, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, trying to expand my online presence. I don't think I'm smart enough to expand my online presence. So, I just hang out with you guys in the morning and do this here. And of course, my regular stuff. Of course, those who don't know it, I am suspended from YouTube. And with a strike. So if you want to get a hold of me, you're going to have to be on Rumble. But that's another show. Let's get on what we're here for. We like to do birthdays, famous birthdays, events in history. My AI, I think it's just as big as a tech idiot as I am. Because it really shortens the list when it comes to birthdays. I can't imagine there's so few birthdays, of well-known people in the world. There goes it just binged again. But, it is what it is. Historical events, it does okay. These national observance days, really, I'm glad there's few of those sometimes, because some of them are really quite ridiculous. You don't hear no bing? Good, because it would probably irritate you guys if you heard it. I don't know why it's doing it. It did it ever since my external camera jacked up, and it did all kinds of weird stuff. Threw me out of the room I was in and everything. But, we're working this morning. There goes the bings again. Some people would think I'm hearing things in my own head. Think about that. So let's pop off with the birthday thing this morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. I slept a good portion of yesterday. I just must have had my little 4-hour stint at my little part-time job must have just kicked my ass, because it was brutal for me. But so let's do this. So these are famous people, birthdays, July 14th. We'll get on with the first one. Ingmar Bergman, born on this day in 1918. He's a Swedish director whose films explore human loneliness and pain. He died in 2007. Funny thing is, the man made movies so serious that even your popcorn starts questioning its purpose in life. Well, let's ponder on that. I just seen the weirdest thing when I clicked off and went to look at my information. I wondered, I'm seeing some weird stuff, man. It's almost like something reprogrammed my computer when the problem happened with the external camera, because it's doing things it ain't never done before, and I question whether it's working for you guys or not. Maybe it's ceiling birds chirp. Yeah, the birds come in through the hole in the roof. Yeah. There it goes. It just did it again. I think I'm going to have to shut everything down and do a complete startup. The problem I do with that is I have this memory loss when it comes to logins and passwords. Now, I've been writing some of them down, but some of them I still don't have written down. Like, you want to hear the funny thing, guys? I have an X account, EP Garage. I can't get back into it. I got kicked out of it the other day, and I cannot remember the login. I mean, this, when I live stream, it shows up, it goes to my X account, but I can't go to my X account to retrieve anything. I got to figure that one out because that bugs me. Good morning, Gail. How you doing? There it goes. It's just chirping again. Some people would think I have a mental disorder with all the things that are going on in my own head this morning. I'm kidding a little bit. So let's take a look at the next birthday. Because Ingmar Bergman, I remember who that is. Now this next person we all should know, and fun fact is I met this person when I was a kid in elementary school, and I got to shake his hand. So on this day, July 14th, Gerald R. Ford, President Ford, was born. 38th president, born as Leslie Lynch King Jr. before being adopted. I did not know he was adopted. Okay. He passed away in 2006. He's the only president whose first act of leadership was letting someone else pick his name. I don't know how that's funny, but y'all probably remember Watergate and all those things that happened back then. Well, probably not all of y'all, but some of y'all might. Good morning, Lane. I have a small table of passwords like a phone directory. The sad thing is, Lane, it's not the password so much because I only use a few passwords. I can't remember, because sometimes you use emails, sometimes they ask for a phone number, sometimes they ask for, something else, and I can't figure out what I used because I've had it for a little bit now, and it's been logged on for a long time, and it drives me crazy. The autofill didn't work, Watchman. I know. The autofill failed me. Get Brave browser. It has autofill for logins. Well, mine has autofill, and it usually works on a lot of my things. but with the X account, it didn't work, and I don't know why. Uh, I actually have two X accounts. I like to get back into my regular X account because I pay for the little blue check mark there, so I can live stream on it. And but my other account is just a regular account. It's the first one I made a long time ago. Not trying to be part of the Empty Pockets podcast or anything. It's just me, getting on X. But like I said, tech idiot. But Gerald Ford, like I said, I got to shake his hand when I was a kid. And, another fun fact, I've actually met two presidents. I never got to shake Jimmy Carter's hand because the Secret Service would not allow us to move out of the line that they had us in. We went down to our local park here close to my elementary school, Snyder Park, and where they had lunch, and we had lunch with them. We had to sit on the ground and eat, a paper bag lunch, which was fine. But, so it was, how it is. It's a publicity stunt. But Gerald Ford did come out and he did shake our hands, which I thought was, as a kid, that's pretty cool. Of course, he took Nixon's place, and he was, he was well known for falling up and down steps. He was a clumsy kind of guy until Biden got in office. And, Biden walks into the woods not knowing where he's going. So he's got Gerald Ford beat. Watchman, I wish I could figure it out, brother. I really do. And I may, like I said, I'm going to have to risk it and shut this thing down and pull it back up. You want to know another funny thing, Watchman? My Rumble account, my daughter set up, which means it's her email she put in there, not thinking, which I don't have access to. So I have to ask her all the time to forward me anything that Rumble sends me. Yeah. I tried to get it changed with Rumble. Rumble is a stubborn platform. They won't let you change anything. I don't get it. You figure, hell, anybody should have a right to change their mind when they want to do something. It's like our radio station that me and Mr. Larry just started. He opened it up as Truth Radio. I was able to go back in there because the original intent was to call it Buckeye Valley Radio because it's for Springfield, Ohio, and the surrounding area. Although everybody will be able to get into it, which I am still educating myself on it. And tech idiot, once more, this is all about me this morning. So you have to download all these things, Winamp and something else. I can't remember what the other one was called, to, set up your mic, set up your live streams, all these different weird things. And I've watched the video at least 5 times, and they act like in the video because there's no voice. It's just music playing, and they do the little arrow falls around, click, 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 and then it tells you at the bottom what to do. Well, it acts like I should know already half the stuff that they're talking about. I don't. 1968, WSO or WSWO TV channel 26 in Springfield begins broadcasting on this date. No shit. Did not know this. Springfield, we used to have a radio station, and we have a newspaper, but it's based out of Dayton, Ohio now. And so it's basically a Dayton paper. And, we have radio station, TV station, and we have nothing now. Except for this guy. That should scare most Springfielders when I'm the one coming in to bring a radio station back to the community. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's slowly coming, but it will get there. Uh, you know, like I said, you got two old farts running it, me and Larry, and we will stumble through it with the help of a lot of people because we can't do it alone. That's for damn sure. I have music on there. I can actually send a link to anybody who wants it. Um, and you can, we got. I'm trying to find my hard drive. I know it's all about me this morning. Sorry about this, everybody. It is all about me. Um, I have a hard drive from my DJ days that's got a lot of songs downloaded on it, and I can't find the hard drive because you have to go in and download every piece of music that you wish to put on your channel, and so you got to pull it from various things to drop the music in there. Well, I'm trying to save time, and like I said, tech idiot, to go in and pull music because when you're thinking about what you want to play on your station, I want to play a little bit of everything. So I'd have to go in and research and pull up music for the last 40 years or 50 years actually, and download each one at a time. So what I've got in there now that's running in a loop is my music and Larry's goddaughter's music. So it's just running in a loop. I'm trying to do Winamp to get in there and drop some, some breaks in there with me talking, maybe advertising something in between, 2 or 3 songs at a time. There goes it chirped again. But, so eventually. But so let's get on to the next famous birthday because, I have to do this because this is like something that is part of the platform. But I'd much rather talk about me, by the way. I really would because, I like the subject. Just saying. But we'll continue. So, on this day, July 14th, in 1960, Jane Lynch was born. Now, y'all know her. She's a famous actress for comedic roles. She was in Glee, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind. She's good at sarcasm. That even her compliments feel like a performance art. Now I remember her in Glee, and I watched Glee, by the way. Whatever. I liked Glee, excuse me very much, because I like music. Now I did get a little off the rails in its last season or so, but the kids could sing really well, and I appreciate that. But here's the sad thing, guys. I just gave you all the birthdays that my AI kicked out to me this morning. Like I said, even my AI is a tech idiot. Because there's more birthdays than that. You got to. Matter of fact, if you guys know somebody that's famous, drop it in the chat. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll get back to me. Just saying. So since that's all I have on birthdays, we'll roll right into historical events. Now my AI did a little bit better on this one. Maybe. I'll let you all be the judge of that. So, on this day in 1789, the storming of the Bastille, French Revolutionary Storm of Bastille, kicking off the French Revolution. A funny bit, imagine being the guard on duty that day. And then, hey guys, maybe we can talk about it. Yo ho ho, no. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that's what it put in there. AI tech idiot also. Just saying. Now, why do we care about the French Revolutionary War? I don't know. If you like history, yeah, it's okay. It's a good thing to talk about, I guess. I like to talk about American history. I like to talk about America's history. I like to talk about America's future. Because all the rest of these countries, they got to take care of themselves. We should be doing likewise. But the French did their thing. What's this? Bastille Day is a good Rush song. I like Rush, and I don't know if I know that song, Watchman, and I would play it, but the guys' channel, this is a YouTube channel, although mine, I piggyback on it and stream on my channel on Rumble, but their channel is actually a YouTube channel, so I'm just a guest host, which you guys probably will like to know someday. My duties will end and the original creators of the show will be back doing it. So, until they get back to getting in here to do this, you got me. And as soon as he gets done with all of his stuff, Big Tony, he was in here a little bit yesterday. I hope he got his mic fixed. That crackling and popping. Oh, that's worse than the chirping I'm hearing in my ears. But I hope he gets that fixed. I liked his AI background he had yesterday. And I like talking. This should be always a two-man show because you can talk back and forth with each other. And, usually one of us are serious and one of us isn't. Take a guess on who isn't. So we'll get on to the next historical event. So in 1798, Sedition Act becomes U.S. law, made it a federal crime to publish false and malicious statements about the government. Basically, the 1798 version of Don't Talk Smack About Us Online took effect. So I can understand not talking false information, but malicious, does the government follow that same rule when they talk about us? I'm curious, what do you think? It's on a Caress of Steel album. Okay. It's Rush's most powerful song. Yeah, here's the, and you can make fun of me if you want. A lot of music that I heard back in the day. My brother, I said before, my brother has a hell of a record collection. My brother was into album rock. You know what I mean? And I was, 4 years younger than him. And even though I was, up in age there a little bit when Rush was, I was a teenager. If it wasn't like played on regular radio, I didn't really dig into the album side of it. Yeah, that's right. Watchmen, they definitely do that because we're a republic. But whatever the mainstream song that the record labels put out for the artists, that's basically the songs I would hear all the time. Now, my brother could probably, just like you Watchmen, and name them, album, which side, what year, probably even who produced it or whatever. because he was always in the album rock. And so, I do like me. I love music, but it was kind of one of those things. It was like a background deal as far as the importance to me. You could always remember something playing in a significant time in your life, especially the younger you are. Uh, but it was like I said, it was background in my life. It was not up front. So some things I think watching you mentioned many songs that I did not know, but I probably have heard them. I just didn't pay enough attention to dig deep into it. Like I said, it was background in my life. One of my most favorite albums of all time has This Day as a hallmark. Cool. See, I know, watch me, you're deep into music, and like all the people that I consider friends online, you guys are all musicians, all kinds of stuff, and I am none of those. So I kind of feel like I'm the odd man out, hanging out with the cool kids. Let's get on to the next day. On this day in 1881, Billy the Kid was shot dead. Sheriff Pat Garrett ends the outlaws' run at Fort Summer in New Mexico. Billy the Kid had so many legends that even his death has fan theories, which is true. Uh, there's a lot of theories about how they say he wasn't killed. Pat Garrett and him are friends, and kind of like let him go as long as he decided, or made the decision to disappear. And of course, back in those days, you could disappear because we wasn't all interconnected like we are today. So it was easy to just go to another part of the country and never be seen again. Those are. It's kind of like how I just seen Elvis eating a cheeseburger the other day at McDonald's, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where they wish it to be so, and then they make their little stories about it. When it just ain't so. It just ain't. So that's pretty cute. I give you a little fun fact. Uh, my mother was seriously into genealogy. I mean, big time. I can tell you on my dad's side, where I come from over in Europe, and my mom's side, not so much. My mom's side of the family had been here so long uh, that they were here before they recorded history for themselves, if that makes any sense to you. We had some Indian in my mom's side, and so there is no origins outside this country of where my mom's side of the family came from, but there is from my dad. But fun fact, uh, some of my mom's ancestors, they would have been cousins, uh, was the pilot and co-pilot of the Wells Fargo uh, coach, and it was the last run, and they've got the coach on display, I think, somewhere out west in a Wells Fargo bank building or something. Anyways, Billy the Kid robbed it, and so fun fact. If that probably wasn't fun for them, but at least they lived to tell the story. It is very important work because I found out, everybody. Here's a funny thing, Watchman. When everybody hears my name, they automatically want to add a ship to the end of it, blinking ship. Uh, Nothing could be further from the truth. Uh, we are from Austria. There's actually a town in Austria with my last name because my last name is Blinkenklaut. Just how it sounds, Blinkenklaut. And they dropped the clout part when they went from, because they landed on in America in South Carolina, and migrated their way up through uh, the states until they got into Virginia, and they settled in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. But they dropped the clout, and there's some history to that little travel they did from South Carolina up to Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Uh, let's just say I come from a long line of criminals, one way or the other. They've done various things to make a living in my family's history, on both sides, by the way, not just one. Uh, but yeah, that's right. That's right, Watchman. And so I say, when people ask me, well, what nationality, I am German. So let's roll on to the next historical uh, event in history. All right, here we go. In 1882, the gunfighter John Ringo found dead. I don't know how that's a really significant. See how my AI is? Uh, the Shakespeare quoting outlaw is discovered in Arizona. Okay, I'd like to know a little bit more about what you know, he was a gunfighter and he was a Shakespearean type individual. What did he do? Quote Shakespeare before he shot you? Who knows? Okay, well, here's a funny quote. I almost jumped over AI's head here. A gunfighter who quoted Shakespeare, imagine getting robbed with the perfect emic pentameter. All right, that's fucked up. They try to get me to say them kind of long words this early in the morning. It's just crazy. I This early in the morning, that's kind of hard to use that kind of language. I already had tongue tied half the time anyway, because I don't speak English. I do not speak English. Don't claim to speak English. I speak American. That's the national language, whether you like it or not. It's American. Deutschland. Hmm. Once again, Watchman, long, complicated words this early in the morning. But I think I pronounced that one correctly. Well, let's get on to the next historical event on this day. In 1918, Quentin Roosevelt shot down. Theodore Roosevelt's youngest son was killed in World War I. AI's got a funny quote in here, and I don't know about somebody being shot down in war is funny, but even in war, he had a presidential level expectations to live up to. Oh, that is just cheesy as fuck, AI. Cheesy as fuck. What the hell? Me and this AI is going to have a come to Jesus talk, I think. Going to have to sit down and have a little company meeting with it. Apparently it hasn't figured out my expectations of this thing. But kind of like in that movie Pulp Fiction, where black guy quotes that fake Bible passage before he shot someone. You want to hear something funny, guys? I've never watched Pulp Fiction. Never watched it. I'll tell you something from way back when, uh, when I was in junior high school, Star Wars came out. I never watched Star Wars. We did, we never had that kind of money, and the money I earned, because I was working already, I couldn't see spending it going to the movies, because it just wasn't in the budget. So I never seen Star Wars till somewhere in the mid '80s. So I was never one of those Star Wars fanboys or whatever, because it was sad to see junior high kids, act all freaking nerdy with the lightsaber and all that other crap. Come on, man. Chicks don't dig that. They just don't. It's not. It's not cool. Is it fun? Maybe. I like science fiction and stuff like that. I like Battlestar Galactica. You know what I'm saying? But that was free on TV. Gotcha. All right. Why is Watchman the only one talking to me in this chat room? What is wrong with you people? Are you not entertained? Do you do you not think I'm personable enough to say something to me? I mean, Gail said hi. Watchman is speaking to me. What's wrong with the rest of y'all? Plus, I am, showing this on my Rumble channel, and here I'm doing a shameless plug, Watchman, self-promoting. They changed the rules for the partnership program in Rumble, and I have to have a large amount of what they call first-time chatters. I get credit for the first chat comment that you ever put in my chat room. You can put a number one, you can put FU, you can do whatever. But if you have never chatted in my chat room and you just drop something in there, I get credit for it. Because here's what they did. I've explained this a few times. Watchman's probably tired of hearing it. Used to, you had to have 20 first-time chatters for the month. And, it starts all over again every month. So now it went from 20. It didn't like jump up to like 30 or something like that. It went to 75. As many views as I may get, not everybody gets in the chat room. Matter of fact, very few people get in the chat room. And although I have an active chat room some nights, it's my same people who are in the chat room usually, a lot of times during the month. So I would appreciate it if you're on Rumble watching this, just drop something in the chat, and it helps me get my numbers. And there's other things I have to do this month that I never had to do before too. But right now we're just talking about the chat room. Shameless plug for myself. Okay. Next historical event on this day: George Washington Carver National Monument dedicated. So, first U.S. national monument honoring a Black American. Funny bit: a monument to the man who made peanuts more famous than baseball stadiums. Is that true? Because I don't know. I'm not a baseball fan, so is that true? Tell them to support free speech and come on over to Rumble and YouTube. Yeah. So I am suspended from YouTube. I have strikes. YouTube is actually my car channel, which I live stream on also. And a lot of people know me for my live streaming now instead of my car content. But I don't want to lose my car channel. So if you like the content I do while streaming, uh, I will not be streaming on YouTube. I'm going to start the show out to let you know that I am live streaming, that you do need to jump over to Rumble, and then I'm killing the feed to YouTube because YouTube is not a place for free speech. It just isn't. But my car content really has nothing to do with anything. There's nothing, that they can somebody. Because what happens is somebody makes a complaint that they're offended. They're offended by my content, and they want it removed. And they almost every time get their way. I got into rocketry because of Star Wars, and I did end up working for aerospace company. Oh, now you're just bragging. That's all you, Watchmen. You're just bragging now. You know, bragging ain't pretty. It really isn't. I'm just saying. Aerospace company. See, all I did was work for a trucking company. You know what I'm saying? I just kept products, moving across the country that everybody uses every day. That's it. That's all I did. Yeah, I believe so. YouTube is ran by communists. That's right. I said it. Uh, but hopefully they won't clip that and somebody complain about that little comment because this Panic and Rehab is not my show, guys. I'm just here to run it as a guest host until the actual, creators get back. That's been months, and there's probably going to be a few more months. And I will not be able to do every show because I have a little tiny part-time job that sometimes the start time of my day starts exactly when the show kicks off. So hopefully Tony will be back before that next day happens. So it can continue. So, we just mentioned this. We're going to get into national observance. We just mentioned this event in history. It's Pastel Day, or U.S. recognition of the French holiday. Celebrates French independence and the storming of Bastille, the only day Americans suddenly remembered they took French in high school. Seriously? AI. AI is a corny thing, isn't it? Corny. Yeah, Watchman, you are completely correct on that. My content does make their front hole hurt. Look, here's the thing, Watchman. I've been sitting here talking up, throwing a comment into the chat room. Not one person has. It's okay, fine. I'm not going to beg. I'm not that kind of guy. What? So you just ran a CNC machine? No, actually running a CNC machine back in the day, especially, I don't know how long ago you did it. Running a CNC machine was a lot more difficult back in the day, especially if you were the one setting up the program. Today they have so many, of course the engineers do it, and then all the operator has to do is press the button. Yeah, Watchmen, they're quiet. They are. It is what it is. It is weird. And that banging in my ears is getting to be more frequent. All right. So, believe it or not, that's all AI gave me. Let's check and see if there's any weird and fun facts about today's date. Let's see what this thing tells me. Oh, it's hilarious. It rolls right back into the events. Seriously? I give up. I literally give up. My AI is an idiot. Being attracted by 5G. I have 5G. Unplug the camera. That's not working. The camera is unplugged. Right, here's my external camera. I unplugged it because I thought that too. And I don't know what the heck's the deal. I'm going to have to get help to fix it because that binging in my ears, it's got to be binging for a reason. It's kind of like, when you're driving down the road and your engine light comes on, and you know how you fix your engine light? You take a piece of black electrical tape and put over the spot where the light is. Then you don't have no more engine light. It's kind of like that. But the engine light, see, if the engine light is sitting there, I'm a car guy, so you got to listen to what I'm saying. If the engine light is just on, it's telling you that it's detecting, malfunction somewhere. If it starts blinking, it's telling you there's something critical that needs to be looked at. And it don't necessarily mean that it's something that will get you shut down on the side of the road somewhere, but it is telling you it must be maintenance. So if it's blinking, go get it checked out. There's a lot of old cars where the engine lights just come on and stay solid. That could be a faulty gas cap, believe it or not. Uh, could be something in the exhaust, the O2 sensor not reading right after the fact, and but it tries to adjust the air fuel mixture, and then your car, basically don't run as efficient as it should because it's getting false readings. But it won't do nothing to you as far as shutting your engine down. Was it binging with the cam plugged in? Yes, it was. But it was after the camera quit working, not while it was working. So we're trying to fix my tech issues with you guys here on live stream and here on Panic and Rehab. This show is supposed to be funny. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just naturally this way. Not that I'm that funny, but when I had my boy T Skillet on here or Big Tony, they're serious guys. When they look at this information like birthdays and historical events and all that, they like to dig deep down into it and discuss that. I like to make fun of it. If there's a joke to be had in there, I like to put it in there because I can't be serious this early in the morning. I just can't. I have been though, but it's been a bad day after that. Minnesota, good morning. Having a hard time with that new computer? Yes. But it's not the computer itself. I'm not having a hard time running what I'm running. It's just that last night my camera started messing up. Now I've been saying I don't have AC in my house right now because it broke, but I would lose my camera and stuff from the heat. I was assuming, y'all could still hear me during my live streams, no problem, but the camera would go away. And then I would shut it off, and then within 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I could turn it back on and the camera worked again. And it, worked for a period of time, and then it would do it again if the live stream was that long, because sometimes they are that long. But, so I know there's nothing wrong with this per se. The external camera was given to me by a friend of mine. a long time ago when I first started doing this, Killer Carl, and I've been using it ever since. And I've dropped it, and I've, you know, between trying to, I'm on my third computer since I started live streaming. I'm either that hard with equipment, which when I started this, I was on a little laptop that cost less than a couple $100 years ago, and it worked and did what I needed to do, except I couldn't play videos. It would not allow me to play videos. It would buffer real bad. Then I pulled the trigger and purchased a computer. And y'all remember what happened? Those who come to my live streams a lot. I passed out. Well, wait a minute. That was the first time I passed out, and it didn't hurt the computer. The second time, I went to get up and lost balance because I had my foot tucked underneath me, underneath the chair, and I bumped the table, and it knocked it off the table and busted the screen. Well, it was one of those deals where the computer is in the monitor. And I went to go get a new monitor, and they are already not available. So I have a brand new computer. The thing was 6 weeks old when that happened. So I've got it, back in a box, hoping someday, I'll just leave it laying dormant, that a monitor screen thing will be available for it, and I will get it fixed, and I will have another computer, and it's still like brand new. But I'm not holding my breath. That was like almost, it was cheap computer for the price of computers. It was like $600, I think it was, but that's a lot of money for me. And I worked, I tried to, I spent months and months and months making sure I could do this. And, I screwed it up. It's my own fault. But so, see, get a Mac and don't look back. Well, it's too late. I already have a computer. I'm not going to go buy another one. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And don't ask me what brand this is, because I don't know, and it's dark in here. I cannot see the thing, the tower thing, whatever it is. But yeah, as the days, weeks, and months go by, I will keep improving everything that I have. I'm slowly working on a studio, get it out of my bedroom, and it's just, doing it by myself, the physical aspect of it, enclosing it. I want to make it nice. I also want to make it soundproof as I can get it. So I got a insulation. I'm going to insulate the walls and drywall them. Well, it's too late now, Watchman. It's too late now. I mean, what can I say? But anyways, I want to build a halfway decent studio, and I'm building because of a medical condition. I need I will have a unique studio compared to most people you watch on the internet, because I have to have some way to elevate my legs, because I spend so many hours in this chair, and it's not helpful for me to do this. But we spend a lot of hours talking, so I'm wanting to get a recliner type deal, and I build a custom table that is wider than the recliner on wheels that I can slide back to me and be able to live stream and elevate my legs and still have a cool background and everything like that. I imagine it's probably going to take me another 6 months, believe it or not, to do this room. At least that's my goal. Uh, it sounds like it's a small project to you guys, but it is not for me. But I will get it, and uh, you know, we'll be able to stream as much as I want and not have to deal with the other part of my problems afterwards. But saying that, you have Windows-based laptop. I'll give you. I've never used. What you're fine, Watchman. I mean, I have this uh, home computer with a 21-inch because I have eyesight. I have eyesight problems. Uh, I get my eyesight. Uh, I don't know what the exact condition they call it, but like when my sugar and everything elevates and all kinds of things, it messes with my eyesight. James will be airing on OnlyFans. How do you know I don't already have an OnlyFans thing, Watchman? I mean, you don't know. I could have an OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Talk dirty about cars. Throw a little skin in there from time to time, just a little, just enough to tease. You know, show off a few of my scars, just chick stick scars. At least that's what I've been told. And I've showed my scars, and I don't get none of them chicks act like they dig it. They go, ooh. So I don't know. I'm getting the wrong response for that. So that's a myth, by the way. That's just something your parents told you when you were little when you got a nasty scar. Oh, don't worry, you grow up, chicks to dig it. No, you don't. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, we've been on for an hour. Usually I'll get jabbering. This stuff could last an hour and a half. But my AI failed me this morning and gave me short category of numbers of things to talk about. Uh, I'm not happy with my AI. I don't know how many times I got to say that. Y'all hear me? I complain. I complain a lot when it comes to certain things. You know, I am you know, a complainer when it comes to my personal stuff because I have expectations, and when something like AI don't meet your expectations, then all that media hype about AI, of course, I have the free version, and for what I've been told, the paid version is 10 times better. Everything costs. You ever notice that? Everything costs something. It's crazy. You don't want to see my feet watching. They swell up so bad. My legs look like the elephant man. Yeah, you know how it is. What's good morning, not baby Hitler? How you doing? I'm beginning to wonder if you guys ever sleep. Because I know I crash, from time to time for a day. I go long periods of time without sleeping. And it seems like you guys do the same thing. So, I guess we can, even though this is not about anything serious, I haven't really been on the news lately as far as watching it. On the news, yeah, nobody. There's no car chases for me been running from the cops or anything. Uh, but I've been derelict in my duties, tuning in to you know, because I haven't really been doing my typical, you know, news, political type thing lately. Got to go to work. Oh, okay. Yeah, um, I know what that's like. But so I always ask these questions anymore on my live stream. So what's been going on? I mean, I hear stuff, you know, and like the funny thing is people always say, "Did you see that on Facebook? Did you see this on Facebook?" Well, guys, I don't get on Facebook unless I get some kind of notification for something. Uh, I am the most anti social media type person that's live streaming. You know what I mean? I don't get on Instagram. Uh, the only thing I do on X is post my live streams, or actually live stream. That's you know, I don't go on there and post a bunch of stuff. Um, you know, I just don't, which is probably detrimental for me to get my voice out there and heard. I will own nothing and be happy. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much there now, except the be happy part don't go along with own nothing because I'm a materialistic type individual. I like to own my shit. Call it a flaw in my character. You know what I mean? That's like when I first moved out of the house and, you know, left home and I rented. I rented up to the age of 23. And I got so tired of dealing with landlords. And it just, I figured, you know, I'm paying all this money for rent. Now, I do have a theory on rent versus house payment. So I will explain that if you'd like me to. But uh, so I bought my first house when I was 23. And I've never rented since. And I don't recommend buying multiple homes and living in multiple locations, but I always like, you know how you buy one home, you do work on it, you get it worth a little bit more, you sell it, you kind of trade up. You buy another house that's a little bit better than the last one, you do something to it, you sell it, you move up. That's kind of what I did for a long time. But all that moving, when you're young, it ain't so bad. I could not do all this moving today. Whew, Lord. Everything is a subscription based. Soon your car will be subscription based. Germans are doing that already. How? I'm kind of curious on that. How are they subscription basing a car? I mean, we all know about the leases. I mean, that's basically subscription based. You never own it; you're just leasing it. And then if you drive too many miles on it, or there's not enough tread left on the tires, or this, that, the other, then you have to pay for those just to turn the car back in. I don't like leasing. I think it's not. You know, you're gonna buy a car. Buy a car. Uh, you know, back in the day, people used to buy a car every 3 years, and you know, upper middle class did. You know, a lot of people cannot do that anymore. When you buy a car, it's a big investment because it didn't used to be a big investment like it is today. You know, a car today, like most cars today, cost more than my house, and I ain't kidding. Because I bought this house, it was a fixer upper, and I paid cash for it. And actually, I paid more for my Challenger than I paid for my house. But I'm kind of curious if that's what you're meaning, Watchman, about the subscription based car thing. Because I like to learn things, even though it's hard for me to learn sometimes. You should put a security camera aimed at the Haitians. I have no Haitians in my neighborhood. I wonder why that is. I don't know. I didn't ask them when they moved out. The subscription involving the bells and all that is right. You have to pay for those little extras for your little thing to do what it does. You are right about that. I forgot all about that because modern day cars, you can have was it y'all, obviously satellite stuff, you know, the maintenance stuff done over the internet through through the dealership. They can keep you informed on when stuff doing. Yeah, all those little bells and whistles. You're exactly right. Upgrades, radios, cameras, and will be subscribed. Yes, that is right. I forgot all about all this because I don't own a new car, so I couldn't I couldn't purchase a new car today. If I needed one badly, I'd just be riding the bus. Here we go. Come on, man. Oh, not Baby Hitler. What do you do for fun, my friend? I'm just curious. I was my great my granddaughter got my they just had my great grandson last year. Um, they went and bought up their first boat, and I would love to go out in it, but I can't because of my balance issues. I can't go from the dock to the boat, or even if I fell in the boat, I couldn't get from the boat up to the dock. So I get to lose out on those kind of things as far as having fun. Can't go boat riding anymore. Not quite. What is very Jewish indeed? The talking about the car stuff, or are you talking about something else? Sometimes I don't know. I'm still catching up with you guys sometimes. But anyways, it's back to me now. Very Jewish. I get it now. Watching. Sorry. It almost went right over my head. Well, man, I just sometimes you just want to talk about fun stuff there, baby Edler. Fun stuff. You know, life can have some enjoyment in it. Trust me on that. Even in my pathetic little life, I have fun. You know what I mean? So just gotta look for it. I mean, what do you enjoy doing? That's a hot. See, cause like me, I like my car things. I like going to the races. I like going to swap meets, car shows. I also like movies. Uh, the simple things like that. But like the boat thing, I can't do no more. But I like riding in boats. I like boats. I can't swim, by the way. Never could. Gardening. There you go. Gardening. Do you have like the plowed field type deal, or are you like Ronan? Ronan in Australia. Not just not Ronan himself, but they were talking about how you build those boxes. I seen them outside of a church not too long ago. They had like a small field next to their church, and they had all these boxes built out of railroad ties. and they filled them full of dirt, and then they would plant their stuff in there. Yeah, Watchman, I know you like to read, and you're always telling me read this, read that. I keep saying I'm dyslexic. Readings, I can read, but I can't read, if that makes sense to you. My brain skips words when I read it, so sometimes the context is missing in like a chapter I may be reading. I may have to read it 3 times. It's like when I'm typing stuff out myself, I may, miss it. Sometimes I'll type a word in twice or completely miss a word. And it's not because it's not in my head while I'm doing it. It's just my brain skips it. You know what I'm saying? I have rows and boxes depending on what I'm growing. Okay. Now, question on that. The whole deal for the boxes is it because the soil that's actually in your property, and not yours particularly, but anybody's property, they do that so they can come in and economically add soil and plant what they need, because the soil on our property may not be the greatest. Watchman, I like fishing, but I don't fish. If that makes sense to you. Like, we used to go and they used to charter fishing boats up in the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, and places like that. And we used to go up there, and I never fished. I just would crack open a cold one and hang out with them. And sometimes, depending on where we went, I kept track of the the little radar thing that let us know, what's underneath of us as far as a pool of fish or whatever, and depth finder and all that stuff. But, like we have a pay lake. Some of my friends used to go and fish, and I would just take a lawn chair and a cooler and kick back and bullshit with them, drinking a cold one while they fish. And that's my idea of fishing. I like catfish. I surely do. I do. I like catfish. That was a thing. Go down in Kentucky, for the summer as a kid, and my grandpa. My actual grandpa died in the war, but World War II. But my grandmother remarried, and he was a decent dude, and he loved to fish, and we'd always have beer battered fried catfish when we'd go down there, because up here we didn't have it, because we didn't, my mom and us, we never really went fishing or nothing. But you can get an AI reader, you can find some books on PDF form, have John Wayne read that. Oh, that's right, we talked about that. I'm gonna get into that. I truly am. It's just, I don't want to make this sound like I'm that busy, but usually if I have some downtime, I like to have downtime. Yeah. Shut it down. Otherwise, I'm busy doing things like this. My job is still in the automotive world. It's just not that physical anymore. I have stuff I have to do around here. Projects are very physically challenging. Plus, I'm trying to get back in the garage and work on the 56 with help of some other people, my grandson and a couple of friends of mine. So I got to make time. It's like getting back to learning how to play the guitar. That's actually my next priority. Once I get everything's a set schedule for everything, because right now my schedule's up and down and back and forth and all kinds of weird stuff. But see here, boxes dry out faster. Some like the drainage, some like deeper root zone. but want to eat them because of the spray they put on the lakes up here. Oh, huh. Okay. Used to go lake trout in Canada before DWI. Well, you'll have that. Yeah, I bet yours probably tastes a little different than what I was used to. Watching the way it's cooked, fried, however you want to look at it. The thing is anything that's battered anymore, which I love, like fried chicken and fried fish and everything that's fried, and I like everything with gravy too. Believe it or not, and I can't do none of those things anymore. So I get the baked fish, the baked chicken. Sometimes I do splurge and I will eat those things, but I pay dearly for it. You know what I mean? That's like I love ham, and I haven't had a spiral cut ham and stuff in months. It's like, damn, it's been almost a year because that stuff is bad for me. My body and ham can't. We don't mingle well. Excuse me. Oh, I my diet is very bland, uh, baby Hitler. I don't I don't eat a lot of sweets. I don't, believe it or not. I'm not a sweet eater. Sometimes, like, I like hard candy from time to time or whatever, but I'm not like a big cake eater or anything like that. I won't do that. Um, you know, I think my biggest downfall as far as me changing my diet, because I'm on a low to zero sodium diet, as low as you can get it, and it still ain't low enough. But anyways, it's a very bland diet. Sometimes I'll eat regular stuff because you just get tired of eating. It's like eating salads. You can only eat so much salad, people. You can only eat so much broccoli. You know what I mean? You can only eat so much of certain things. It's just. Now, I was thinking about going back on the Atkins thing. Minus things like pork. Yeah, see, I cannot eat salt at all. Salt will put me in the hospital there, baby Hitler. It surely will put me in the hospital. I use cornmeal and a little flour added to some pepper, salt, garlic. See, you, I couldn't eat what you make. Keto. Yeah, well, keto is kind of like the Atkins thing. That's basically, um, and I used to have the bottle of strips to test your keto level. Back in the day. It's funny because everybody thinks, oh, you can eat all this and all that, as far as meats and stuff. That what people don't understand is when you eat something, and then there's a portion of your diet that you're used to that you can't eat no more because you're trying to stick to this or that. You will get tired of eating just meat. You know what I mean? You will get tired of just eating just salads. You will get. I mean, these things that it's like when you can't have it, you want it more. You ever get that way? When you can't have something, it seems like you crave it twice as much. See, like I don't drink soda. I mean, I used to do it daily, you know, every day, and now I only do it like if if we're going to a restaurant or whatever, I may splurge and get a soda, but that's rare. It's very rare. It's water now. I live on water. Let's see here. Potassium, magnesium. Yeah, I have to have a lot of potassium, or else I get Charlie horses real bad, muscle spasms, and like my body years ago, I had ulcers, and I had a bad gallbladder, and part of my upper intestine that attaches to my stomach was riddled with holes, and it was leaking stuff into my body and causing me to uh, when I that stuff would exit your body. Number two, it would be full of blood. So they had to cut that portion of my stomach off and cut 8 inches of my upper intestine off, and then make a new hole and reattach it to my stomach, and then remove my gallbladder. So eating certain things because of where they put the new exit at, uh, I can get sick very easily as far as uh, bringing it back up. So I have to watch how I eat and what I eat. It's Of course I've been doing that since 2003, so I'm kind of used to it. Look into the foods that Bill Gates put uh, many poisons in. Veggies aren't good for you. Combined with potassium stops cramps. All right, yeah. It plus I take. I'm not even gonna get into my medication. Y'all know I have a grocery list of medication, right? And I know they say, "Oh, get off that." Okay, well, some things is just like detrimental to me being here. It's catch 22. You don't want to be on it. You'd like to be without it. But then what do you do to make up the difference? And all natural stuff, let me tell you something, it doesn't always work, guys. I know you want it to. And if you're halfway healthy already, probably. Uh, but when you get to a certain point to where it's aggressively attacking your own body, um, you know, so you got to learn how to read the codes on fruits and veggies to know what's not GMO code. Starting with nine, what is it? Nine is non-GMO, and stay away from appeal veggies, fruits. That's Bill Gates. So starting with the nine, so look for that. Okay, I did not know that. That's good. Good to know. Education. I use beetroot with lemons and apple cider vinegar. Helps my blood flow problems. Yeah. See, I tell you some of the things that I go through, but I don't want to. I mean, this is a good time show. This ain't about a medical show that talks about all gross and nasty stuff. Uh, one of these times we may do a live stream, guys, that we can just talk about health and things that we go through. I mean, Watchman has some health issues. I got health issues. My friend Big Tony, he has health issues too. So, my man Larry also. And, as I said earlier, getting old ain't for pussies. Yeah, Minnesota, I say the same thing. That's a good tip right there, Watchman gave us. I have lemon water every morning. I never, I just drink straight water. Does lemon make a difference? I think you mentioned lemon earlier somewhere in there. What is it? Beetroots with lemons and apple cider vinegar. Helps my blood flow. Isn't that nasty tasting though? I mean, not that I would stop. If you're doing it, I don't mean stop doing it because it's nasty tasting. But isn't that flavor kind of like strong? But baby Hitler, I was strong as a bull when I was younger too. I mean, back in the day, I've always been big, but I stayed right around 250, 275, and I could bench 285 and do all kinds of stuff because I had a very physical job that had a lot of heavy equipment involved with it. Code starting with 3 or 4, a 4-digit PLU code, e.g. 4011, indicates conventionally grown produce. These items are not guaranteed to be non-GMO, as conventional farming may involve GMOs. Hmm. Okay. See, I never thought to look at that. That's actually good information for me because right now I eat a lot of frozen veggies because the doctors like canned veggies are no good. Uh, Frozen veggies, if you can get, and they even said if you can get it straight from a local farmer, you're best. But if you don't, then frozen veggies is like the next best thing. So that's what my heart doctor tells me. All right. I know. Uh, Even he said that. Uh, but as far as consumption of something, it's better than canned veggies. The acid in the lemons help your liver and gut parasites. I was, a friend of Killer Carl's, Jacob, started me on a program. They did it for free, but I could not afford to continue to do it. Uh, they were It was a body cleansing, and I was doing a, a dropper of stuff in my water that helped it really helped my breathing. I can't deny it. But I can't afford to stay on that kind of stuff, guys. That's way up there. I can't afford to drop, you know, $400 or $500 worth of stuff every month. I think I just realized what the beeping's all about. I think somehow my phone has synced into my computer, and every time I get a notification in my phone, like because I'm, logged into YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, uh, all those things are on my phone as an app, and every time I get a notification, my phone will beep and it'll drop down and tell me what the notification is. I'm thinking that's what is going on here. My phone is synced to my computer somehow, and I'm gonna watch my phone while we're talking, and if it does it again, because it's not consistent. I just now realized that it's never the same time, like every 30 seconds or whatever. And of course, your notification, depending on what time of day or night it is, depends on how many notifications you get when people are out there posting stuff. So hopefully that's it, because I'll unsync my phone in a heartbeat. 200 to 250 a week on groceries for 3 people. It's crazy. Yep, I have the same issue because I don't get food assistance or nothing, even though I'm on disability. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that's what it is, because I don't know if my phone synced to it or not, because I didn't sync it. I don't know how it got synced to my computer, but it. I looked over when I heard that beep in my ear, and I was getting a notification on my phone too. So that's what I'm double checking right now. Boy, that'd be a simple fix if that's the case. I don't know how would my phone get synced though when I don't plug my phone into it. Can you sync a phone without actually hardwiring it to the computer? You know what I mean? That's just curious about that. Hmm. Yeah, baby Hiller, that 2 to 250 a week. Like I said, there's three in my house too, and I tell you, it is a challenge to buy good food and buy it at a price that you can afford. That's why so many people eat crap because they buy what's cheapest. Now, when they're young, they don't think these things are detrimental to their health. But when you spend, you know, 60 some years on this earth and you've been eating all the stuff in the grocery stores over the decades, it has to be, some kind of a garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. You know what I mean? Google once connects everything. That's why I said get Brave browser. It's a lot better than Google Chrome. All right, I will work on that. So I guess I should close this out because, like I said, this is Panic and Rehab. This ain't. Let's talk about James's health and how to eat better hour. Although I do appreciate the information because I do take heed to as much stuff that you guys tell me and try to, you know, do as many things as I can and that I can afford to do. No ads with Brave. Well, that's good because I cannot stand commercials or ads. Uh, you know, uh, YouTube Premium is one of the first things I purchased just so I didn't have to deal with commercials because I watched YouTube so much because I also was a content creator as far as the car stuff, and I had a lot of stuff on there, other people that I followed that's in the cars, and I got tired of the ads, and then now, you know, you pretty much have to purchase these things if you want to stream. So, like X had to purchase Rumble. You don't have to you have to purchase premium if you're going to stream, if you're monetized or want to be monetized. You know, so plus, I have a website that costs money. Now, the only reason I got the website that and it's not expensive, but it ain't cheap either. But I wanted things to be able to do on there, and I've not reached its full potential yet as far as what I want to do with my website. Uh, I've got to take the time to. I want to add pages to it. I want my website to be a one-stop shop kind of thing for blogs, podcasts, merchandise, um, sponsors, events. To be able to talk about events that are coming up that's important to all of us, whether it be political or car oriented, which is important to me. But these things, I want somebody to be able to go to my website and find these things, uh, and, and so you can sign up for the email because you can get the newsletter, which is the blog email to you, and I write the blogs And I'm not been as consistent as I want to. There for when I first started doing it, I was doing it every week, and I try to change it up, which I like things like finances and stuff. Like Jimmy helped me do that one. Now, and and I reach out to a lot of different people when I want to write about a topic I'm not 100% knowledgeable on. And one good thing about AI is, especially being dyslexic, I can type it all out and then hit check grammar spelling, and it shows me my mistakes, and then it asks me if I want to fix it, and of course yes. And so AI helps my grammar, and like if I'm missing a word or I have the same word in there twice, it detects that, and it's really helped me out a lot. And so you know, good and bad, I guess. Good and bad. Yeah, I think we talked about that the other night, baby Heather, about putting that up on my website. That way, I don't have to deal with Rumble or YouTube with it. Um, Maybe I'll start a page that will have the ability to click on these videos that you much more. I'd like to have much more than that on there. You know what I'm saying? But I would also like to separate it from political to car, because a lot of car guys, believe it or not, are not political. A lot of America is not political, so you have to know your audience basically. Greatest story never told. Okay. Yeah, now I have to figure out how to do that, guys, because what I've gotten so far, I've had some help, and they basically got me going, got me started, and now I gotta just kind of continue on and do it myself. But and I'm gonna add to my merchandise page, because like all you see on there now is like so some of my car photos, a rendering of my cartoon of my car that I'm building now. Then the last car that I did build, which was a '70 Stingray Mustang Stingray Corvette, and then you know just my logo for my podcast and for my car channel. I want to put some stuff on there when we make our funny comments in our live stream. Sometimes is t-shirt worthy, that I would like to be able to do, and I haven't. The company that I deal with, I'm not either smart enough to figure out how to do that, and they're not willing to tell me how to do it. So I keep what I'm doing, because those are qualities. I didn't want junk t-shirts or junk sweaters, or not sweaters, but hoodies and stuff like that. So, I kind of picked them to get me started, to get me going. But I'm going to go with a company. I'm going to try to get some of my sayings that I like to throw out there with you guys, and put it on t-shirts. Like right now here in Springfield, because of all this Haitian and TPS thing going on, everybody's got a saying around here, uh, you know, stay on track, send them all back. It's kind of like, stay strong and stay united kind of thing. Because, the authorities here, the leadership here, uh, don't have the same feeling we do as far as removing them. And so, we have a big commission meeting tonight, city commission meeting. I will be there. Because my friends that help me or does the true crimes on Tuesday nights is on vacation. So I have a free Tuesday. So I will be going to the meeting. I know a lot of you guys ain't local. It's not a big deal to y'all. But it could get a little spicy. Because, they removed their driving privileges last week, and then they were going to remove their uh, working privileges, but then they extended that till the 24th. The lower court defied the Supreme Court and put a halt on the ending of their permits to work. But so you could sell "Get the Flock Out" t-shirts and hoodies. Maybe. Just might. I didn't know you were the guy who went viral for the Haitian thing till you showed the clip the other day. Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, Baby Hitler, because like a car guy, I wasn't monetized. I didn't have enough followers to be monetized. It's just my little car community, right? Do my little car thing, my little silly videos. And the local news outlets were already talking about, the Haitian thing. And then I heard the mayor and the city manager get on our local out of Dayton, Ohio, talking about there was no verifiable information on any of this being true. It was a fake post on Facebook, and just I heard this, and they were talking about the bunkhouses. There's no evidence of that, and I'm thinking bullshit. I have one right across the street from me. What is this dude talking about? And this is before the debate. So I just thought I'd vent to my little community of car people. And that night, I made it, and then I downloaded it that night, and it was on the next day. And then the next day, uh, the president did the old they're eating the cats, eating the dogs on that debate. And then all of a sudden, whew, my face was plastered all over everybody's content creator kind of thing that was reporting on Springfield. And then I'd see my face up there from my video. And I'm, because I scroll through YouTube because that's what I do with my car stuff. And I started seeing all these things pop up with me all over the damn thing. I was like, what in the hell? And I didn't think anything about it. But so I went and checked my video. And I think the first 24 hours, it had hit almost 1 million. 24 hours after the debate. And then it eventually went to 2.3 million on YouTube, and then it was reposted on X and Facebook and all these. Anyways, somebody who's smarter than me, they know how to track all this. It was like over 6 million views between all the platforms. So things changed after that week. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we're just talking. We're basically at the end of the show, and we're just talking about things. Uh, just my auntie lived in Springfield. She said it was terrible. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Share this channel with everybody. Yeah, I had so much vile stuff thrown at me for that video, talking about how I was racist and I hate people and all kinds of stuff, threats on my family. I'm just trying to think all the stuff that was said to me. It was unreal. And then everybody and their brother tried to get an interview with me. All these YouTube content creators coming in here. And I was watching some of their content while they were all here. And they were doing stupid, silly shit. And like the ones like when they were making jokes about, the ducks and the Canadian geese. And they went out to a whole area that was completely separate from where the violations were happening. Showing the wildlife out there. Oh, well, what's the problem here? Look at all these. So I had to make another video because that pissed me off. So I went down to the lagoon to show where the Haitians that were snagging these ducks and geese at, where they were doing it at, and the lack of that was there now. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so funny that, so I did that and I got massive hate for that too, talking about I was lying, but I showed pictures of, because I tried to show where these things, because, these things fly away, they migrate. No. These are domesticated wildlife creatures. They get taken care of by the park. They are not afraid of humans. This is why they say, well, how are you going to catch a duck or geese? Well, they're so used to walking up to humans getting fed. They didn't think they was going to get snatched. And plus there was 2 separate reports made 3 months apart by 2 separate people that don't know each other. But yet our mayor said that they had no credible evidence to, to show this to be true. They lied again. So I did my video. And like I said, everybody tried to do interviews with me. They did. I was watching their content and they're doing stupid. They're probably interviewing 30 or 40 people and then they pick the worst 2 or 3 that are ignorant. One guy that was on there was just, calling them porch monkeys and all this other stuff. It's like, hey, this dude has he's mentally challenged. He really is. Why are you interviewing somebody who's mentally challenged? But it got views. And I would not interview with people like that. I was being serious about the whole situation. And so I looked at everybody's content and I turned them all down, every one of them. And that JL investigation guy come into town, I tried to get a hold of him because he was going all over like the nice parts of town, talking about what, it seems quiet, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you stupid fuck, go into the places where they actually live. I got a hold of him, that tip line 3 different times. I said, I will take you around and show you. They declined. They said if I had any tips that was important to their show to leave an email, but they wouldn't, they didn't do this drive around thing with people. I'm thinking, pussy. What's up, Ronan? Yeah, the cat thing. We just noticed this last 3 weeks we were talking about it. We haven't had a stray cat problem, and we used to have a big stray cat problem in this whole area. And I said, we ain't had a stray cat problem in a couple of years. We really haven't. That's not a joke or anything like that. We haven't. About 3 weeks ago, we started noticing, I seen 3 different cats that were running around the neighborhood. But see, because we have no Haitians in my area no more. They're all out. But so that was an interesting time. It kind of got me to what I'm doing now, guys. This whole thing got me started doing this because I did 2 interviews. One of them was Killer Carl, and he's the one that convinced me I should start doing my own thing. And like I said, I'm a car guy. I was not a public figure. I don't go around, standing on a soapbox preaching about what we ought to do or Yeah, I did none of that. I was just a regular guy, and I didn't pay much attention to public or to local politics. Didn't. I just didn't. Uh, so completely changed everything. I'm not quite so sure it's for the good, but it did change things. Have a T-shirt with George Washington flinging a Haitian into outer space, pointing his finger, 45-degree angle, saying "Pull." Oh my gosh. Hey, all day, every day. Yeah, what's all day, every day? Off to the Michael Schwartz show. Off to the. I'll come back. Are you daily? For the most part, I am daily. Not this early in the morning. I usually do late stuff. This is not actually my show. I am just a guest host. Uh, I come in here and I help in the mornings. And Murphy, how you doing, Murphy? Now, don't you and Ronan don't start flirting. Y'all, there's so many guys in here that's part of my other stuff. I feel like I need to stop this because it isn't mine and pop back up with my own live stream real quick because this is not my platform and I don't, this is supposed to be a funny deal. So I can, if you guys want, we can hang out for a little bit. I know, I think Baby Hitler said he had to go to work. Of course, it's Ronan's nighttime. You old Chewy, no thanks. Jeez. But yeah, and I went down memory lane with a couple videos the other day. Like I showed our mayor apologizing for being white. It's one thing to have sympathy or empathy for another group of people, but don't be apologetic for who you are. I mean, there's just something wrong with that. Oh, we're funny enough watching. It's just some of this stuff is getting, we try to stay away from the hardcore political stuff on this show. And it seems like I don't, sometimes I don't mind it for the most part, but it's not really what it was designed for. No, we don't have Somalis here, Murphy. We have Haitians. So, you know what I mean? I tell you what, these employers around here are up in arms. They are like, oh, who's going to do the work now? Who's going to do the work? Well, won't you put out a thing for people to actually come fill out applications for your freaking job instead of running through a Haitian temp service? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I preach. That's what I do. I'm a I'm a preach. I don't preach. At least I don't consider it preaching. Sometimes I say I go on a rant, and back when I first started podcasting, because it was just me, nobody else was paying attention to anything I had to say. It was just me talking to myself, ranting about stuff that I was irritated about. Then it got to be where, man, I stay irritated all the time. It's not good for the old mental health. It's time to have a little fun with this at least. Have your shows that are serious, but also have some shows where you can have a good time. Yeah, that is true, Watchman. That is what it is. Cheap labor. They always talk about, well, Haitians don't have drug addictions like Americans do. Uh, Haitians for the most part, are alcoholics. They may not shoot up heroin or do crack or whatever, but they still have their vices. That's Haitians get DUIs all the time. Then they get their charges dropped. Figure that one out. Yep, that's right, Watchman. It's all about the money, brother. It truly is. There's no other explanation than the fact that you know they're paying a third less or more for the labor. Plus, they get a benefit from the government. They get when even though it's through a temp service, so they don't actually work for those companies. They work through this Haitian. I say it's a Haitian temp service, but they cater to the Haitians. Everything's about the Haitians for this temp service. But they get, I think it's $9,600 for every Haitian they allow to work in the facility. So they pay them less. They get a kickback, and they also get a tax break. So why wouldn't they hire? You know what I mean? That's the thing, and that's how they see it. But then they like to say that, no locals, are willing to do the job, or they can't get to work, or they're drug addicted, they can't pass a drug test or whatever. The thing is the temp service, the Haitians get back and forth to work because they get picked up in a van and taken to these locations and then picked back up and taken back home. Yeah. We usually don't have that. The temp services don't offer that. They didn't offer that before the Haitians got here. Now, there is one company a while back that I was told that did that but they had to deal with the one factory that they had to deal with. They didn't do it for all the factories that they sent temp people at. But with the Haitians, it's everything. So I could go on for hours about that because this is what we do every Sunday. We talk about the Haitian invasion in Springfield, Ohio. So I'm saying this is panic and rehab. I don't want y'all be panicking over something, but it is irritating, like the extension of the work thing. And they're still driving, by the way. They supposedly lost their driving privileges, but they're still driving. Hang out and get stoned. Hang on, get stoned. Hey, everybody must get stoned. Yeah. Watchman, there's so many injustices that's happened here. And a lot of times they'll say, well, we didn't break the law. But you know what? There's a fine line between breaking a law and just being unethical and a piece of shit person. So if you don't mind being considered unethical and a piece of shit person, but you didn't really break the law. And the thing is you can only break the law when the judges drop the gavel and charge or convict them of something. So it is unreal. There's a lady in town. She's very good at following court cases, because it's public record. And the charges that are brought up on these individuals, and then the reduced charges or the complete outright dismissal of charges, time and time and time again. I mean, I bet, because she's been doing it for a few years now, almost 3 years, sorry. And her files must be huge, man, because she posts this stuff on her Facebook page, Stop the Influx here in Springfield. And just so much of it, so much. And pretty much everybody said, well, it's the judge, and the judge has authority over the cases they want to follow up with and do, convictions or drop charges. And they can, and the prosecutors go right along with it. So it's not always, I say the judge, but for the most part, a criminal case hardly ever makes it to in front of the judge here, because the prosecutors plead it down or dismiss it. They refuse to prosecute. So then the judge is the traffic stuff goes in front of the judge, and that's one of the crazy things around here is all the traffic violations that get just signed away. We can held accountable. Let's see, politician judges. Yeah, and but anyways, that's that should be on my other stuff. This should not be here. I've said that like 5 times now. So let's do this. I'm gonna log off here. We'll close this stream out. I went 2 hours, which is an hour longer than we should do, but we usually do an hour and a half. So I'm gonna close this out. If you guys want to come back in, look for a notification. I'll start another live stream here within 30 to 40 minutes tops, and then we just come in and just talk. Plus, I want to get caught up on some current news stuff, like I've seen where the trial with the Charlie Kirk assassination deal. There's some conflicting stories on that deal. I'm kind of curious about that. I don't know. I've got to get caught up on that kind of thing. Plus, the Iran negotiations. I got to get caught up on that. Capitalists making banks, facilitating communist takeover. What happened when they started it in Russia? Capitalists funded the communist revolution. 2 sides to the same shekel. Yeah. But yeah, so let's let me close this out, and we'll start a new one up and talk about current events, and just hang out. All right, guys. So saying that, thanks for coming in to Panic and Rehab. I appreciate it. Thanks for the chat room engagement. That's always welcome. I always like to engage with my chat room. Catch us tomorrow morning. I say us. Catch me unless Tony gets his stuff up and going all the way. Good morning. Get ready to shut this live stream down, and you can join back up within 30 minutes. I'm going to start a new live stream. I usually don't do one this early in the morning, but since you guys are all here and y'all want to talk about stuff, I'm more than happy to hang out and talk. So we're going to drop out of this one. And the next live stream will be Rumble only. So, because I am suspended from YouTube, whether I wanted to get back on it or not, so I can't even post a thing saying I'm going to be on Rumble only today. So, anyways, we'll just hang out with us Rumble people. So, thanks for stopping in. If you're not going to join us back here in a little bit, y'all have a good day. And stay out of the heat. Enjoy the day. If you got to work, hopefully your day won't be too difficult. And I'll see you all in a few.